Hey, do you have an idea for a podcast but don't know where to start? Or do you have an already existing podcast that you want to take to the next level? Well, check out WeKnowPodcasting.com. From concept development to theme music to editing to logos, WeKnowPodcasting.com is a one-stop shop for all things pod. Don't hesitate to hit us up. We're very nice.
Well, there's a party each and every year on Christmas Eve, where the fun and cocktail shrimp don't seem to end. Clark and Ralphie taking turns on the TV screen, laughing, singing, yelling with all of our friends. Well, it's Christmas, and let the parties go spread the holiday cheer. 'Cause it's Christmas. Oh, it's the best time of the year.
Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Matt.
So we're in August.
Dude, we are, but hold on. Like, we're in August, but I got my iced chai with me, man. I'm
Look at
feeling
you.
it.
Oh, well, that's what I was going to say, right? We got past 4th of July,
Hell yeah.
and now it's literally Halloween Christmas mindset, right?
Exactly.
Like
Like,
that's
as
the
soon
vibe.
as I put it out, and all of our friends are pretty much the same as well, that, like, as soon as July 4th ended, it was like, well, happy Halloween. We're in
Yeah,
it now.
no, I mean we're in there, and now we're officially starting to hit that time period. I'm thinking right after August, we'll get through August.
Yeah.
I'm ready to start getting a little Christmassy, right?
Dude,
like I'm
me
ready to
too,
blend it
man.
with the Halloween, but like
Yeah.
like now we're not in that awkward like April through June time where you're like, I don't know, man, I don't want to fucking think about Christmas.
Well, that's the thing, is like, by at least it's fucked, because by mid-September I'm almost over Halloween.
Yeah. No, my desire to be in a Christmas mind spirit like headspace greatly outweighs my desire to be in a Halloween headspace most of
Exactly.
the time. But I think it's also, we've talked about this before, you and I live that that Halloween life 24/7,
Yeah.
like 365. The Christmas is harder to maintain 365 because no one blinks an eye if you decide to put on like Halloween H2O in the middle of July. They're just like, hey, you're just enjoying a great horror movie. But
Which
like,
I believe we are recording on the 24th anniversary of Halloween H2O.
yeah, you know, like those Halloween movies come out all year round. But like,
Plus, I think, like, and I think you can agree with this, there's a lot of people in the horror community are very negative.
yeah,
And
boy.
there's a whole lot of negativity surrounding the horror community, and I think even Halloween as a whole, which is really weird. And I don't think that same negativity surrounds the things I enjoy about Christmas. Because I think you and I have both spoken that the things we love about Christmas aren't necessarily like religious related.
Okay.
So, like, I don't think there's not that same discourse. And I think I'm so fucking tired of discourse in
Yes.
general, and constantly being attached to it. And again, that's my own fault for living on the internet. But
No,
like,
but there's there's a podcast that someone recommended to me that I've been listening to, and it's like it's not like a podcast that there's going to be 100 episodes of, right? It's one of those like serial type shows where they've just got a story to tell, and once that story's over, they're done. And it's called Download, the Rise and Fall of Harry Knowles. And like, I don't think I realized how much of the things that we have learned to hate from the internet all kind of have their
Stemmed from
origins
them.
in
From
Ain't It
him.
Cool News. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, oh man, that is where you got snark ass writers that weren't even that good of a writer just attacking a movie before they'd even seen it. Like,
dude, it's movie poop shoot.
it is movie poop shoot.
It's movie
100%.
poop shoot. Like, and that's what kind of turns me off of. So we're recording this. Just a peek behind the curtain. We're recording this the day that Prey comes out on Hulu, and Sandman drops on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I really want to watch these. But I'm also like,
You
what
almost feel like you
what
have to watch
online
them.
thing is going to like influence my opinion
Well,
on
that's
it,
the
you
thing.
know?
It's like that stuff. It's like I gotta watch it right away
Yep.
and make my own opinion before I see like 1,000 Facebook statuses that will either make me disappointed because everyone's saying how amazing it is and then I think it's just okay,
Yep.
or the reverse where I love the movie more than I probably actually would love the movie because people have talked so much shit on it. Like
Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
it's very hard. You know what I will say? I did see Nope finally in theaters,
Yeah, what'd you
and
think?
people have been really good at not really, at least in my nick of the internet, have been really good
Yeah.
at just like, hey, go see Nope. And like that's their entire
Yeah.
review. You know what I mean? Like not talking about too much. I think that it's fun. Like
I really loved it. I really
I
loved
wish
it.
I wish that I had known going into it that I was definitely going to be getting more of a Close Encounters of the Third Kind
Yeah.
than an Alien. Like I was like prepared for like some super fucked up shit, but once I was like, oh, this is like watching every great Spielberg film from the 70s and 80s.
For
Like it's just
sure.
a popcorn fun movie where you really don't want to see anybody die. You're cheering for your heroes. I was able to like really buy in and have fun with it. But yeah, the first like 45 minutes, I'm like, what am I watching
Yeah.
exactly? Like I
Yeah.
wasn't ready for what the tone was going to be. But I mean, here's what I'll say. I'm curious if you agree with this.
Okay.
I think it is my least favorite of the 3 Jordan Peele movies, but I think it's going to be the one I rewatch the most.
Okay.
Because I like Get Out and Us a little bit more, but those movies are so heavy.
Yeah.
Whereas Nope, I'm like, this is going to be one of those movies that I just like throw on and just like kind of have on in the background and just like, I'm not like, you don't have to pay attention to every single second of Nope the way
for
that you
sure.
need to with Get Out and Us, because like every single
Yeah.
frame has like 1,000 different subtexts happening.
Yeah,
at the same
I
time.
love Get Out. I like Us. It was one of my favorite. I think Us fell
Us is strong until the last like 10 minutes. It
and I
has a
think Us
real bad
fell
third
into that
act.
category, the thing we were just talking about. Like I saw it a week after it came out. I saw the discourse on it. Everybody said it was like incredible, and I watched it. And I'm a huge fan of Get Out. I loved Get Out.
Yeah.
And that I wanted something that I put on that same level, and it wasn't. So I was really disappointed. I need to rewatch Us. I loved Nope. I absolutely
Yeah.
adored Nope.
I think that Nope was very important for Jordan Peele to make, and like there's no way that I'm going to say this and it doesn't sound a little bit like white guy complaining about being in the minority, which like whatever, but I think it's true. It was important for Jordan Peele to make a movie that really did have like a wide net of characters so that he could keep himself from being pigeonholed as like, oh, well, every Jordan Peele movie is just about the black characters. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like and that's not saying like I love that he's making those movies, but
Yeah.
I think that as much as Jordan Peele respects Spike Jonze, he doesn't want to be, or sorry, as much as Jordan Peele respects Spike Lee, he
Spike
doesn't
Lee,
want to
yeah.
be Spike Lee. You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
wants to be able to make movies for everybody's enjoyment. And
sure.
Get Out and Us are definitely for everybody's enjoyment. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, but he was already getting labeled with that concept. So I think that
agree.
Nope was like an important thing to be like, no, I can make a general audience movie. It's kind of, you know, the vibe that I'm getting from love it or hate the trailer. Like The Munsters is Rob Zombie trying to prove that he can make a movie that's not just for the diehard horror fans.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a second.
We'll see how that looks. I'm keeping myself optimistic with very low expectations.
No, like I said that in a tone that you're actually going to be surprised by my feelings. But I want to talk about Jordan Peele real quick. Mainly, guys, today we're talking about Christmas in August, which is it's a
made
tradition,
up bullshit thing from
from Yellowstone.
We're gonna talk about it in a second, but
we're gonna get to it. I promise.
Dylan and I are catching up, man. Let us catch up.
It's been a little bit. Matt
It's
just
been a
got
while.
back from Matt just got back
Traveling.
from Scares That Care, and
Yeah.
before then he was at San Diego Comic-Con, and Dylan
Before
has
that,
been.
I was in Pittsburgh, and before that, I was in Tennessee.
Dylan's been just hanging out on the Eastern Shore of Maryland.
Yeah.
So- Dylan's been collecting Pokemon cards and playing video games. Just
More
'cause
about
he's-
that next week, I'm
exact. And he's gonna sit and enjoy his summer vacation before they go back to school. But talking about Nope, what I love about Jordan Peele is how much he lets his horror fandom influence what he makes. He did it with Key and Peele. He did it with Get Out. He did it with the Lost Boys stuff in Us. And he did it again with Nope. One of my favorite parts of Get Out is the fact that at the end, spoilers for Get Out, you guys should see it. At the end, that movie turns into like a 70s, 80s exploitation movie with like brain transplants and shit like that.
Yeah.
Which is amazing to me. And what I love about Nope is there's a halfway point, and I'm going to do my best to avoid spoilers. There's a halfway point scene where basically the movie, the visuals turn into like a haunted house movie.
Yep.
Like the windows are dripping blood and everything. And I love that visual. I love when Jordan Peele does that. When he's taking this movie that's obviously in a different genre, but is using these different influences to create these super impressive visuals.
Yeah, and I've heard people complain that he has a third act problem, but I realize that a lot of the people who say that are people who don't have the deep horror knowledge that you and I have, where it's like no, he just likes to shift the tone in the third act.
Yep.
And like if you get what he's going for, the tone shift isn't as jarring as if you have no frame of reference for what he's doing.
Exactly.
Let's briefly talk about the Monsters trailer,
All right.
and then we'll talk about this Yellowstone thing. I mean, I love the Monsters. I'm going to watch anything. I love the Monsters. I'm going to watch anything based on the Monsters. I know that people are complaining about the color saturation. It looks very similar to when they did the first Technicolor Monsters movie, Monsters Go Home. I'm sure it's going to be fine. Am I going to walk away from it and be like, this was the greatest film of 2022? No. There's no chance. There's zero chance that that's going to be
Dude, that would
my
be
takeaway.
What?
But
It's fucking incredible.
But I'm like, I know what it's going to be. You know what I mean? And it's going to be fine.
Listen, all right.
It's a PG movie for kids. Like, you got to stop. People got to stop sitting down and being like, this doesn't look like House of a Thousand Corpses. Yeah, because it's a fucking kids movie. Like,
my big thing is like, dude, you're not going to sit there and tell me that all of these 30 and 40-year-olds are hardcore Monsters watchers.
Yeah.
Like, you're not fucking fooling me.
Like,
okay?
I literally was
that
just
was
texting
even before
someone.
your fucking time.
Yeah,
like, shut the fuck up.
I was just texting someone literally yesterday and was like, do people forget that the Monsters was literally just 30 minutes of dad jokes and old vaudeville bits? Like,
we watched the trailer. Teddy goes, that looked really dumb, but also goofy and fun.
Yeah.
Which is the Monsters. Like, I
Yeah.
don't understand. So the trailer reminded me of maybe it was the early 2000s. Before Freeform became Freeform, it was ABC Family, and then it was Fox Family before that. Fox Family did a remake of the Addams Family, like a TV show version. And that's what this movie reminded me of. It looked like they were all having fun. It looked like it was goofy and slapstick. To me, it looks like it's definitely got the tone of the original Monsters. And you know what? I'm done buying that all of the stuff that's getting remade is ruining people's fucking childhoods. People have nostalgia for shit that they never even watched.
Yep.
Like, you're not telling me that all of these people are diehard Monsters fans that Rob Zombie just ruined their fucking day. Get out of my face with that, dude.
Dude, I've been over this ruined my childhood thing since like midway through the prequels, when I'm like, oh, I wasn't aware that they like broke into your house and took your original copies of Star Wars when they made those prequels. Like, just don't fucking watch it then.
Oh, hello there. I didn't see you come in. I'm Shane O'Hare of the Geekscape Games podcast, the #1 video game podcast on the Geekscape network. Join myself, Derek Krenevelt, and a guest every fortnight as we discuss video game news, video game reviews, and dissections. That's Geekscape Games every 2 weeks on Geekscape.net.
So, Dylan, you sent me a link to this made-up bullshit that happens in Yellowstone Park.
Dude, what were we even talking about? Were we in the middle of I think we were in the middle of Jaws. Jaws 3D.
You just sent me something, and you were like, hey, check this out. Christmas in August, formerly known as Savage Christmas. I prefer the phrase Savage Christmas way more. So let's break down this Wikipedia page. So it says origins, right? It says, according to the local legend, in the early part of the 20th century, a freak blizzard stranded visitors and their stagecoach at the Old Faithful Inn. Rather than lament the fact that they were snowbound in a hotel, the guests decided to celebrate Christmas, since it looked like Christmas outside. Some stories place this blizzard happening shortly after the turn of the 20th century, while others specify that the blizzard occurred in 1939, and in some other places, 1920. Some stories date
not only is this bullshit holiday made up, we don't even know when the fucking blizzard took place.
Yeah, so there's more. Some stories date the blizzard to be in the 19th century, prior to the creation of the Old Faithful Inn. There are no historical records recording a blizzard that ever hit Yellowstone on or around August 25th of any given year. In fact, between 1904 and 1941, the most snow that Yellowstone received on any given day in August was 1.8 inches on August 18th, 1932. Interviews with old employees indicate that the celebration was not held prior to the 1930s. So, yes, completely made up here. And then that continues. You move to the next page of the wiki, the historical origins. While the actual origins of Christmas in August are unknown, Yellowstone's information specialist, Leslie Quinn, speculates that the origins are based upon 3 factors. First, that during the 1930s, the celebration of Christmas in July was a popular celebration in the Rocky Mountains. Second, August 25th is the anniversary of the National Park Service. And third, that there was an existing celebration in town known as Savage Days. Quinn discovered a 1966 article published by the Parks Recreation Department entitled "Christmas Comes Twice a Year, Once at Home and Once Up Here." In the article, I love this. 1 second. In the article, Gene, Mr. Yellowstone Music Hall, indicated that there was no Christmas in August celebration while he worked in Yellowstone during the 20s and 30s. According to Quall, there was a small Christmas in July celebration, and that the employees would have had an employee-only celebration called Savage Days, wherein the park employees would dress like Santa Claus. So at least now we're getting... This is all bullshit. So...
Yeah. This sounds like an excuse that the people in Yellowstone are just really big fans of Christmas like us. And they're like, we need to make up some shit so we can celebrate Christmas in August when it's really fucking hot, which is fine. It's perfectly fine.
Love
but
it.
Get your fucking story straight.
Yeah, seriously. All right, so Savage Days. Let's talk about what Savage Days were first. So in 1977, the park historian Aubrey L. Hines indicated that the earliest reference in the 1947 employee handbooks was an indication that read, "O.F. Savages held annual celebration 725. According to the August 1st, 1947 issue of Yellowstone's Weekly News, the July 25th celebration had nothing to do with Christmas. The Savages, which were the concession employees at the Old Faithful, held a gala affair on July 25th known as Savage Day. Several floats entered in a long parade up the main street to Old Faithful. The day concluded with a large masquerade ball in the evening. Hines indicated that he remembered the celebration going as far back as 1939 when he worked at the Old Faithful as the assistant district ranger, but that no one paid the employee celebration much attention. By 1953, however, the annual celebration known as Savage Days became a park-wide celebration and had attracted the attention of the park connoisseurs and the National Park Service as it interfered with the service quality. Okay, so what I'm getting from that is that these employees had this crazy party every year.
Yeah.
And it started to come known as the fact that because they were having this crazy party, like the park quality in general went down because all these these people were partying so hard that it got labeled as Savage Days because it's just like, oh, these are the days you don't want to go to Yellowstone because those employees are going to be fucking worthless.
And then they made
to
it.
you.
Then they made it like a celebration. Like,
Yeah.
like, yay, Savage Christmas, woo!
Yeah, so here we go. Savage Christmas.
Savage Christmas. Hit me with it.
1953 was the last year Savage Days was celebrated in Yellowstone National Park. Starting in 1954, the park connoisseurs made a concerted effort to merge Savage Days with a smaller Christmas in July celebration. Trev Pav, the head of Hamilton Stores, one of the park connoisseurs, claimed that the park concessionaires deliberately created the story of the blizzard at Old Faithful Inn to falsify the origins of this new celebration called Savage Christmas. In 1955, the first publications came out mentioning Savage Christmas. And from 1954 to 1959, the celebration was held on either July 25th or August 25th. But by 1959, August 25th became its permanent date. Quinn speculates that there are two reasons why the August 25th date prevailed over the July 25th one. First, the tourist season in Yellowstone starts in May and ends at the end of August. By celebrating Christmas on August 25th, it became the end of the tourist season celebration. Second, Warren Otis, the bellhop at Old Faithful Inn and founder of a Christian ministry in the national parks, or ACMP, MNP, had started a choir, and the choir held its first celebration on August 7th, 1949. Within 2 years, the choir they were forming choirs at Old Faithful, Mammoth Hot Springs, and the lake areas of the park with the intention of performing Handel's Messiah. Handel's Messiah. Quinn reasons that having the Messiah, which was the annual tradition of the early 50s through the 90s, coincide with the Christmas celebration was just a logical step. But with only a short season in which to prepare, the August date for the concert would have to be more reasonable, and this may be the factor for the July to August switch. Delmer J. Sincard III, an author who wrote the article Christmas Comes Twice a Year, but Once at Home and Once Up Here, noted that the Christmas celebrations begin to take a more serious and formal aspect once the arrival of the ACMNP seminaries. So I think we've got this. We've solved the mystery of Christmas in August, everybody.
I'm like, could you imagine moving to Yellowstone and people are celebrating this and you're like, what? Why?
Yeah, why?
And somebody's like, hold on.
Yeah. So let me explain this to you. Well, it's like, first of all, do you want the real story or the made-up story? I'll tell you both. The made-up story is that there was a blizzard and people decided to celebrate Christmas in August because of it. All right, so here's the real story. We used to party like fucking maniacs at the end of the season, and while we were like getting good and ripped, some dude came and formed a church choir and wanted to perform that Hallelujah song, and we were like, well, I mean, you're forming this choir in May. That's not a quick turnaround time. How about we combine your bullshit choir with our like rager, and we'll just put it on the calendar. We'll call it Savage Christmas, and we can get a pretty penny out of the tourists while we're doing it.
I'm curious. I think we definitely need to make a trip to Savage Christmas one year. For sure. I think we have a perfectly fine day in the summer to celebrate Christmas, and it's Leon Day. Like it's June 25th. I don't it's the perfect halfway point. I'm a big proponent for that day. Fuck Christmas in July.
Yeah.
Fuck Christmas in August. June 25th, Leon Day, Noel spelled backwards, is the exact halfway point between like it's 6 months, dude. I don't understand. We don't need to make up bullshit holidays.
Christmas in July, the more I realized that it's like, but that's not even the halfway point, really.
Exactly. When I was a kid, I always thought it was the halfway point until I, funny enough, started listening to Christmas podcasts. Yeah. Somebody mentioned Leon Day because I just never thought about it. It's not something you fucking think about. And then you're like, oh, I guess June 25th is the halfway point to Christmas because it is the 6th month. So yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. We don't need to make up random shit. Guys, if you want to keep the Christmas spirit in your hearts all year round, you can do it.
Just listen to our podcast.
Just do it. Just listen to our podcast. I promise you this episode, because at the midpoint of Matt reading that very interesting Wikipedia as my eyes began to glaze over, I want to just ease your stress that we're not running out of stuff to talk about.
No,
I just want you to know this was
we just
literally
found out about
one-off.
this wild. We found out this
Exactly.
wild fucking thing, and I was like, we have to talk about it because this is insane.
Exactly.
It's insane and it's stupid. But don't listen. We're gonna pika a really good thing to talk about next week for you guys.
I'm so excited.
So I mean, this is a short one. This is just kind of we needed to talk about it. It had to be talked about.
Christmas in August. There's also apparently a Korean movie called
Ice. That was the first thing that came up on
Christmas in August. That's when I typed in Christmas in August, that popped up, and I'm like, did I make this shit up? Like.
No, you sent me a wiki link, and I was
That's
like,
what
the fuck is this?
That's what I thought.
But yeah, we'll watch that South Korean movie one day, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right,
We've talked
anyway,
about stuff that are less Christmassy than that, so I'm sure it'll be great.
1000%. Well,
Yeah.
Happy Savage Christmas, Dylan.
Dude, happy Savage Christmas. Party on.
Oh, now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Happy holiday, have a great holiday, have a merry happy holiday.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.